Houston. Houston, we have a problem. DJ Apollo has landed. I repeat, DJ Apollo has landed.
Hear me?
You are listening to the Tales of Music and Film podcast. My name is Christian Taylor, and I personally want to thank you for clicking on today's episode. So I kind of got bored, and I thought, you know what? How about we just do another recording today? I literally just got home from my shift at Walmart like an hour ago. I just ate me some barbecue. I had a barbecue sandwich for dinner, and had some time to kill. You know what? I was like, you know what? I want to do another episode because in this episode today, I want to do something that I've been wanting to do for a while. I want to talk about the movie Man of Steel and maybe mention the other DC Universe films that Zack Snyder did, because it's weird. Like, dude, ADHD does weird things to you. Like, there are so many times I work in my shift, and then I just get these crazy ideas just pop into my head. And I think a lot about Man of Steel. Like, I look back on this movie a lot, you know, and I'm like, oh my god, this movie did Superman so wrong. Along with, you know, BVS, you know, and Justice League, it's just like, they did a horrible job with Superman and the other DC characters as well, and we'll get to that, but yeah, we'll get there. But I just thought it'd be kind of cool to. This isn't really a review; it's just kind of a rant because, like, Zack Snyder, you know, it's funny, right? You know, so I was in high school when the DC Universe films was, you know, the talk of the town. Like, I remember being a sophomore in high school when the first trailer for BVS came out, and like I remember me and my school, you know, me and my classmates were sitting at the lunch table during lunch period, and like one of us got our phones out because somebody at the table, we were all talking about, you know, the BVS trailer, and one guy was like, I haven't seen it yet. And then I remember one of the people at the table got their phone out, you know, and played the trailer for him on YouTube, you know, and I remember this just like it was yesterday, you know, and like it was hype. It really was. And I remember I saw it in theaters, and at the time, teenage me liked BVS a lot. I hadn't seen Man of Steel. I didn't see that in theaters. My best friend Jonathan, I believe, was the one who had me watch that, and then I was ready for its sequel, BVS, just 3 years later. But yeah, I thought Man of Steel was okay, you know, at the time. I just wasn't really a Superman fan. You know, funny enough, I became a Superman fan after I binged all 10 seasons of Smallville back in 2021 and 2022. Like, it took me about, I think, a year and a half, I think. Maybe not that long. Maybe more like a year to get through the Smallville TV show, but that show single-handedly made me a Superman fan, and it was literally like that show that made me realize just how bad the Zack Snyder films, I mean, just absolutely ruined Superman. Like, I'm not throwing any shade at Henry Cavill. I mean, he was a great Superman. He was just given bad material to work with. He made it work the best he could. See, my main issue with Superman, it's not Henry's, you know, acting, it's the way they wrote Superman in this. I mean, like, I don't even know, like, where to start. You know, like, Man of Steel, it's like, I watched, there's this YouTube channel called Muller, and it's him and his friends, and they do these amazing commentary videos where they watch a full movie on YouTube, and we watch them, you know, react to it. You know, it is just audio. You don't see their faces. And I remember I found his YouTube channel, like, I don't know, maybe 4-ish years ago, and I love watching his videos where him and his friends do reaction videos to movies. For a while, they had a DC run where they reacted to, like, Man of Steel, BVS, both versions of Justice League, the the 2017 version, then the 2021 extended cut that was released, and Suicide Squad. Like, they reacted to all of those, and I saw most of them in theaters myself, and I actually kind of liked them at the time. And now that I'm older and I went back and watched their reaction videos, like, these guys really did help me realize, like, these movies have not aged well. None of them have. Especially, like, Man of Steel, because it just doesn't write Clark or Superman well at all. And I think the first talking point that I'll talk here, Superman is not a hero in this universe. Like, where do you even start? I mean, he's literally a man-child in Man of Steel. Like, does anybody remember that scene where we learned that when he was growing up, one of his jobs, when he was on the run, he worked at a bar for a short period? There's literally a scene where this jerk customer at the bar throws a beer can at Clark's head, and then, like, it cuts to, like, nighttime. He's walking out the bar, and he finds his semi-truck and two others just smashed together with a telephone pole going through them. Like, that is not something Clark would do. Like, I can't believe they put that in there. And, like, can I just say also that he doesn't save anybody in this movie. Literally, the only scene in this movie where he rescues people is that scene when that oil rig, is burning, and he climbs up and breaks the door open so the crew can get out. That's literally the only scene in the 2 hours and 40-minute run time that he saves people. The rest of the movie, he just doesn't care. And, like, my God, like, where do we... And, like, you get to the ending battle when he's fighting, General Zod and his soldiers. Like, Clark got so many innocent people. I mean, I would argue he got at least, like, 10,000 people dead because of him. Like, you guys need to, if you don't believe me, go back and watch the ending battle for Man of Steel. The body count is absolutely nuts. Like over half of Metropolis gets destroyed. Like, there's literally, when he has that final fight with Zod, there is literally a crater in the middle of the city. Like, it's literally gone. It's like 9/11 times 50. It's insane. And I'm not kidding you. If you go on Google right now and you Google how many people died during the Man of Steel battle, apparently in the lore it was like 5,000 people. And I'm like, okay, that right there is total BS. There was at least, like, I would say tens of thousands. Like, there's double digits in there for sure. 10,000 plus. Like, half the city was literally leveled to the ground. And Clark, when he's fighting these Krypton soldiers, he's just throwing them around through buildings like he does not care. How much collateral damage did he cause? Like, there's literally a scene where he throws Zod, and Zod literally goes flying through, like, 10 buildings or something. I'm like, Clark, you do realize these tall buildings are crammed with people, right? He fights these people, like, he throws them into populated areas without a care in the world. Like, that is not what Superman does. And like, remember that scene where he's fighting that one soldier and he throws him into a train yard and causes a massive explosion to happen? Gee, I wonder how many people that killed. Or, that shot where, he gets a LexCorp truck gets thrown at him and he flies over it and then it explodes in the middle of the street with people running everywhere. Oh, gee, I wonder how many people that killed. Like, Clark is not a hero in this movie, and at BVS, it didn't age well either. I mean, we'll get to that. But it's like, at least in that movie, it acknowledges, the amount of damage and horror and the amount of collateral damage Superman caused. Because apparently, like after Man of Steel came out, a lot of people were like, Clark is responsible for a lot of the damage to Metropolis and the casualties. I mean, like, this guy literally got threw himself and another one of Zod's soldiers into a Waffle House, and they luckily hit an area that where all the booths were conveniently empty. I'm like, seriously? Dude, the amount of damage that happens is absolutely nuts. I mean, like, the real Superman would have grabbed every single one of those soldiers, and he would have taken them to an area where there's no people. He wouldn't just, fly around through buildings, and like there are so many shots of buildings falling down onto the streets that where hundreds of thousands of people are running everywhere, and Clark does absolutely nothing to help them. He doesn't care. So there's that, right? And then I would argue this this franchise ruined the Kents. So Jonathan and Martha Kent, they were some of my favorite characters, in Smallville. Like, John Schneider as John, he will always be like the GOAT when it comes to Jonathan Kent. Kevin Costner, I'm sorry, it's not his fault. Kevin, I think Kevin's a great actor. I've seen a lot of stuff with him, like The Highwaymen, Dancing with Wolves, Field of Dreams. Like, the dude's a great actor. But the way they wrote Jonathan and Martha in these movies was just they destroyed these characters. Like, you want to be a good example? Like, we get a flashback scene in Man of Steel where Clark is like a preteen. I think he's like 12, 13 years old maybe. And he's on a Smallville school bus, and apparently the driver, a tire blows up on the bus, and the bus goes off the bridge into a river. And then Clark has to push the bus out of the river before everybody drowns, and he saves his classmates, and he gets home, right? What does Jonathan say to him? He doesn't celebrate Clark for what he did. He tells him, Clark, we've talked about this. You gotta keep this part of you to yourself. And then Clark's like, should I just let them die? And then Jonathan proceeds to say, maybe. Jonathan just straight up told this 13-year-old teenager that, yeah, you should have let your classmates drown in that school bus. That's not Jonathan Kent. The real Jonathan Kent would have gave Clark a big old hug and told him how proud he is of what he just did. Heck, I would argue any parent in that situation would have told your child how proud we are of you. You saved lives. Like, that's like one of the greatest things a human could ever do is rescue people's lives. That's literally, you're a hero for that. But no, Jonathan tells him, oh, no, you should have let those kids die. Did none of the writers think about this? Like, did any of the writers who wrote this script, did any of them ever pick up a Superman comic? I cannot believe that they did that. And then, like, in BVS, like, Martha has the... You know what Martha says to Clark once? She says, Clark, you don't owe this world a thing you never did. It's like, oh, gee, thanks a lot, Martha. You're basically telling him not to save people. Like, how are you supposed to take that? Yeah, Clark owes the world everything. Like, he have extraordinary gifts. You should use them to save people. But Martha's like, no. You can't do that. No. I'm like, oh, wow, Martha. What a great thing to say to Clark. Yeah, that's real motivational. Thank you for that. And then we get the infamous, tornado scene where Jonathan dies. Now, look, in most situations, like Jonathan's death, it has to happen because, in Smallville, Jonathan dies during the halfway point in season 5. So basically, when you get to the halfway point in the show, Jonathan dies. And when he dies, like, the show is never the same. Like, the second half of Smallville, things take a really dark turn, you know? Like, Jonathan's death was supposed to symbolize, like a tone shift. And Clark couldn't save him. The way Jonathan dies in the Smallville show, it's very tragic, but it's supposed to teach Clark two things. One, there's consequences for your actions, because in the Smallville show, Clark, meddled with time, and Jonathan told him you shouldn't do things like that because there'll be consequences. And when Clark, meddled with time to save Lana's life, there was a consequence, and Jonathan dies. He has a heart attack because he had a bad heart condition from stuff that happened in season 3. When he was temporarily given Kryptonian powers, it took a toll on his body. Like, no human is designed to have that kind of power in themselves, so it took a toll on his health, and he had small health problems throughout, seasons 4 and 5. And that would help lead, to his death, amongst other things. So in that show, Clark learned two things from Jonathan's death. One, there's consequences for your actions. Number two, you can't save everybody. Like, Jonathan died in a way where Clark couldn't do anything to save him, and he learns you can't save everybody. But the way Jonathan dies in Man of Steel, they put Jonathan in a situation where Clark could have saved him, but he told him not to do it. Like, the scene, it's another flashback scene, and we get this horrible scene of Clark being an absolute douchebag to Jonathan. I'm not kidding you. You want to know what the last thing Clark says to Jonathan in Man of Steel? I don't know why I'm listening to you. You're not my father. The Clark Kent in Smallville would never say that. Like, he fully embraces that he was raised on the Earth and that he is a Earthling. He's not a Kryptonian. His name is not Kal-El. It's Clark Kent. And what did they do in Man of Steel? They do the exact opposite. And we'll get to that. But, yeah. We get a flashback scene with teenage Clark, being an absolute jerk to Jonathan, and a twister touches down on a highway, and they have to make a run for it, and Jonathan goes back, to get their family dog out of the truck, and when he's escaping, he twists his ankle, and he can't get away from the twister in time, and Clark's getting ready to fly over to grab him, and then Jonathan puts his hand up, telling him, no, don't do it. And then Jonathan gets sucked up in the tornado. Now, that whole scene is absolutely stupid, because you can't, look, I get it, Jonathan has to die, but the problem is, you put him in a situation where Clark easily could have saved him. Like, comic book Clark would have saved him in that instance. You have to kill Jonathan in a way where Clark can't do anything about it. Like in the comics, when Jonathan dies, it's supposed to tell him you can't save everybody no matter how hard you try. There are some things that are just out of your control. But they put Jonathan in a situation where Clark easily could have saved him, and he chose not to. That makes him a horrible person. That scene was not it. It's stupid, really dumb. Now, the next point that I'll say regarding the Man of Steel movie, another thing about this movie that absolutely ticked me off to no end, is how Clark embraces that he's a Kryptonian and not a human. Like, I'm not kidding you. Clark does not identify with the human race at all in Man of Steel. Like, he doesn't connect with them, even though he was literally raised here on Earth. The minute he finds the Kryptonian ship, he fully embraces, I'm not human, I'm Kryptonian. It fully destroys the concept of Clark and Superman as characters. In the comics and Smallville, no matter what Clark learns about himself as he progresses through the show, when he learns his Kryptonian name and that he's Kryptonian, he doesn't change. he keeps the Clark Kent identity because that's his name. That was the name that's the name Jonathan and Martha gave him when he was a baby. He's not a Kryptonian. He's human. Yes, Krypton, it was where he was born, but that's not where he was raised. Born and raised are two different things. That's like me saying I was born in Decatur, dude, but like I wasn't raised there. Like that's not my hometown, like just because I was born there doesn't automatically make it my home. I wasn't raised there. Your home is where you were raised. And where was Quark raised? On Earth as a human. But in Man of Steel, within the first 30 minutes, he finds, the Kryptonian crashed ship, and he learns that, he's Kryptonian. He finds out his father's name is Jor-El, and stuff. And we get this scene where he goes back home to Martha to catch up with her and everything. He's like, "You're not going to believe this. I found my people. I found my parents. I know who I am." And it's like, that would have been the perfect time for Martha to be like, "I thought I was your parent, Quark. I thought us humans were your people." I mean, that. I'm sorry. That scene is horrible. I can't believe Quark would say something like that. Quark identifies with the Kryptonian people that he's known for 5 minutes versus the humans he's been around his entire life. Seriously? This guy identifies more with the Kryptonians that he's known about for 5 minutes versus the humans that he's been around his entire life. That is so freaking dumb. It ticks me off to no end. There's literally a scene in this movie where, Zod is getting ready to land on Earth with the other Kryptonian soldiers that he has, and Quark's in a church talking with a preacher. And he's like, "I'm not sure if the human race is worth..." I'm not kidding you. With a straight face, he looks at the preacher and he says, and I quote, "I don't know if the human race is worth saving." Yeah, guys. Clark Kent, Superman, says that in Man of Steel. And looking back on it, I am flabbergasted that line is in the script. That's not Superman. Superman would never in a million years ever say anything like that. I cannot believe that made it into the script. You're telling me nobody read that and be like, this doesn't sound like something he would say. It's like, now look at Smallville, for example. Quark loves the human race and fully embraces that he's a human. There's literally a scene, season 7, when his cousin Kara gets introduced, she keeps calling him Kal-El, and then Quark's childhood friend Chloe's like, "No, Kara, his name is Quark." He's like, "Yeah, my name is Quark." He never goes by the name Kal-El, ever. His name is Quark, and he never, even when he meets General Zod in season 9 of Smallville, he still keeps the Earth identity. He never changes, ever. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is how, Superman straight up kills General Zod in the Man of Steel movie, even though he easily could have taken him alive. So, literally, the battle ends where Quark has General Zod literally in a chokehold in, a train, like a train station or something. I'm not sure. I mean... a train station, and there's a bunch of civilians trapped in the corner, and Zod's using his laser eyes to try to kill him, and Superman has him in a chokehold, and he's begging him to stop because Quark doesn't want to kill him, because as of right now, him and Quark are now the last two Kryptonians, because all of Zod's soldiers were killed over the course of the battle, so he's the last one, and then Quark makes the ultimate decision. What does he do? He snaps Zod's neck and kills him instead of, there were so many things he could have done. He literally could have picked up Zod and flew out of the building with him. He could have, took a piece of metal and wrapped his hands in it, make, custom handcuffs or something. There's so much he could have did, and like he could have grabbed his head and turned it to the right to point the laser beam away from the civilians, and like I don't know if any of the filmmakers thought about this, but like Mueller pointed this out. Like if you watch that scene, these people who are trapped in the corner, literally all they have to do is run to the right and they're out of harm's way. Yet they just sit there like a bunch of morons instead of like, trying to make a run for it and get out of the way. It's like it's like they're NPCs in a video game. They're just programmed not to leave the corner. It's stupid. And I'm just like, Superman does not kill people. Like, prime example, dude, season 1, I think it is, of Smallville. Like, we get this amazing scene where, like, this guy who, there's this agent guy who figures out Clark has superpowers, and he's trying to make it public. And we get this scene where he's trying to use Quark to steal stuff for him, and Quark manages to get him caught by the police. But then next scene, they find a dead body on the camp farm, and then Jonathan gets arrested, and then the guy comes to visit Quark, and he tells him, like, if you do that again, I will make things worse for you. And Quark literally grabs him by the shoulders, and Quark contemplates killing him. But then Quark lets him go, and then he goes to visit Jonathan in jail, where he picks up the phone, like they're talking to each other through, the glass wall or whatever, with the phones. And Quark is telling Jonathan, like, Dad, something happened today, that guy came to visit, and I wanted to kill him so bad, Quark felt horrible for even, thinking it, and Jonathan tells him, like, Quark, no matter what happens, that's not an option, because once you cross that line, there's no going back, and he's right, and Quark keeps that in mind, literally throughout the rest of the show. I mean, like, he goes so far out of his way to save people, no matter what, but no, Man of Steel, Superman, it's obvious he has no problem with people dying. I mean, he caused the deaths of thousands and thousands of innocent people. So yeah, snapping Zod's neck, I guess in this universe, it's not that far of a stretch. Oh my gosh. And like, dude, it gets worse, and like in the sequels, it gets worse. Like, would you believe me if I told you more destruction happens in BVS, like, near the end? But yeah. Now, the next thing that I want to talk about and cover here for a moment is the horrible relationship between Clark Kent and Lois in Man of Steel versus how they were in Smallville. Dude, like, Smallville is always going to be the thing I'm going to use as an example, because, like, that show has all the perfect... I had the best Clark, the best Jonathan, the best Martha, best Lois Lane, best Lana Lang, best Lex Luthor. I mean, like, dude, the actors in the Smallville TV show, they were so perfect. I can't imagine anybody else playing the roles. Like, Smallville is the GOAT. It's like John Schneider, who played Jonathan, he said a quote once that always stuck with me. He said Smallville is the crown jewel of a hero story, and I'm like, damn right it is. That show has aged extremely well, and I did a full review of Smallville if you guys want to go check that episode out. And funny enough, this year Smallville is 25 years old, so that's cool. It's a great show. I mean, I think it's aged pretty well. I mean, it's a great story. If you haven't watched it, I highly recommend you go check it out. It's a great show. But yeah, it's always going to be, my going back to use as an example, but... Yeah, anyway, in Man of Steel and the sequels, the relationship between Clark and Lois is god freaking awful. Like, there's no romance between them. It's like, it's not even a love story. It's like, literally, Man of Steel, Clark saves her a few times, then they just like each other. And that's it. They have nothing in common, like, whatsoever. There's no, like, little hints or anything. Like, these two knew each other for, like, maybe a couple of days, and they automatically like each other, and it's so bad. It's, like, one of the worst relationship stories I've ever seen. It's so rushed. It's terrible. You know, like, there is no chemistry between these two at all. Like, look at Smallville, for example. I mean, like, Lois enters the story in season 4. And these two don't start dating until season 9. I mean, these two don't start dating until the last 2 seasons. Like, it took, seasons, 4 to 8 for the romance. Like, the romance did kind of start in 8, but it fully blossomed in season 9. But it was built up. I mean, there were hints all the way back, to season 4 when she first showed up that they liked each other, but it was slowly built up to it. I mean, the relationship between the two of them in Smallville, it was like some of the best like couple writing I've ever seen in a story. It was great. They took their time because they knew they had a lot of seasons on the way, so they were able to slowly build the romance up, and it felt more natural, like a natural relationship, like it was perfect. And Man of Steel it's like they took it as a challenge, like, how fast can we get these two together? It's like love can't happen in just a couple of days. Maybe unless you're the Titanic movie, but besides that, you can't find the one you love in just a couple of days. But it's like, I would even argue that Lois Lane in the Man of Steel movie is not that likable. She's kind of a douche. Like, it's like she's a reporter. That's all we learn about her is that, oh, I'm a great reporter. Okay, Lois, anything else? Crickets, 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 crickets. Nothing? Okay. That's the only thing we get about the character of Lois in Man of Steel. She's a great reporter. And that's it. And she's kind of like, dude, when she first shows up, when we see her show up at the Arctic, she's an outright jerk, to the military commander in charge. Like, she's just a disrespectful jerk. It's like, lady, this guy serves in the U.S. military. Like, show some respect to this man, will ya? Like, she walks in acting all high and mighty, like she's got more, authority than he does. Like, it's annoying. Like, her introduction was handled horribly. She comes off extremely unlikable. And like, she, tries to make a story on Quark's life until he meets her in person and tells her, like, hey, don't do this. If you go through with this, my identity, like, I won't be able to be a hero. And then she's like, oh, okay, I won't do it then. It's like, and there's just no romance between them. I mean, like, I'm not kidding you. The movie, if you go back and watch it, it's literally, oh, you saved me a few times. Okay, I love you now, even though we have absolutely nothing in common whatsoever. It's terrible. And then you get to the BVS movie, and these two act like they've been dating for years or something, and it's like, it's literally been, like, maybe a year or something. I think in between BVS and Man of Steel, there's, like, maybe a year time jump or something. Like, there's literally a scene where Lois is taking a bath, and then Superman jumps in to make out with her. And I'm like, you guys have been together for, like, a single year, yet these two are acting like they've been together for, like, 5 years plus or something, which is not the case, like, at all. And then at the end of BVS, when Superman, freaking dies, when he kills Doomsday, it's like, and, like, Lois is absolutely heartbroken, even though they dated for, like, maybe a year and a half or something. Like, when you get to the Justice League movie, she's all depressed, and she makes daily stops at the Metropolis statue dedicated to Clark. Like, she visits him every day, acting like she knew him for a very long period of time, even though they knew each other for, like, maybe a couple of years, and that right there is being generous. Like, these two knew each other for, like, maybe 365 days. That is not very long. Yet she's acting like, the love of her life died. It's just, yeah, no. And may I just say that the entire ending of the BVS made absolutely no sense. Like, why would you kill Superman off in the second movie in your franchise? That's like Iron Man being killed in Avengers 1. Like, they actually went through and killed him. Like, that's so stupid. Killing Superman, that's like something you do in your ninth or 10th movie. That's not something, like, literally, like, Man of Steel comes out, it's sequel, BBS, they kill him off. Like, what? It's only the second movie. Why would you do that? Dude, it's ridiculous. Like, the entire, like, Doomsday should not have been in that movie, period. BVS should have been a movie about Clark and Batman fighting, but like it was only them. They fight for five. Like, why did they even bother calling it BVS? By the way, Superman and Clark, no, Superman and Batman fight. I'm not kidding you. Their fight scene lasts like 5 minutes. I'm not kidding you. It is so short, and then the rest of the movie is just them teaming up and taking down Doomsday. Like, that's it. Like, their revelation gets tied up pretty darn quick. It's ridiculous. Like, oh my god, man. And oh, and another thing we can talk about is how this universe did Lex Luthor completely dirty. Dude, the Lex Luthor and Batman vs Superman, I wanted to vomit. That's not Lex Luthor. It's literally a Heath Ledger Joker variant. Like, the actor who plays him, I gotta look his name up. He was in, Zombieland. He was in, he was in The Social Network. Oh, Jesse Eisenberg, right? Yeah, yeah. He played Lex Luthor in this universe, and again, it's not the actor's fault, but like the way they wrote Lex Luthor in this, my god, man, what a complete destruction of a very famous character. Like, Lex Luthor is supposed to be like a very smart human being. He's like Clark's ultimate nemesis. Yeah, Jesse Elsenberg, I think is how you say his name. He plays Lex. Anyway, the way they portray Lex Luthor in Batman vs Superman and in the Justice League extended cut, he's just a maniac who's creepy and weird, who has no social skills whatsoever. Apparently, daddy abused him when he was a kid. Oh, boo freaking who. And, like, we get no backstory about him. He has long orange hair. He's not bald. He looks nothing how he did in the comics. He's this tiny little skinny kid. And I'm like, that's not Lex Luthor. Michael Rosenbaum's Lex Luthor would have wiped the floor with this crying man-child of a Lex we got in Batman vs. Superman. Like, Lex Luthor in Man of Steel, the guy is straight up dangerous. Like, he's not somebody you want to mess with. Like, by the time you get to season 6, the dude goes completely off the rails. I mean, like, he does some pretty mean stuff, man. Like, season 6 and 7, Lex just goes off the deep end and fully just embraces being a villain. Like, he is a smart son of a gun. Like, he is, like, Clark's ultimate foe, And it's really a darn shame that Michael Rosenbaum left the show after season 7. I just feel like those last 3 seasons, 8, 9, 10, it makes you wonder how much more cool stuff they could have did with him, but we had him as a main character for 7 seasons, so that's good at least. And man, I wish he could have been there the whole runtime, Because those last 3 seasons, it just felt like something was missing, Michael Rosenbaum, it's like, I've met him. He's a great guy, great sense of humor. I loved getting a chance to talk with him. It's just like, dude, you are the best Lex Luthor. Nobody is ever going to top you. You are literally the best live-action Lex Luthor ever put to screen. You're the best. I remember when I attended the Smallville panel at St. Louis Fan Expo, this nice elderly woman went out to the microphone and said to him, it's like, Michael, you are the best Luthor. Like, no one's topping you. And then everybody started cheering for him. I'm like, yeah, couldn't agree more, you know? He was so freaking good. After watching Smallville, it made me realize, oh my god, what a complete character death they did to Lex and BVS. Like, you can't take him seriously at all. The guy is a weirdo. He's a goofball. He literally looks like if you slapped him once, he'd be on the ground in tears. The guy, he's a skinny little wimpy kid trying to act all tough, but he's a mental case. Like, the DC universe, they just can't write good villains. I mean, like Zod and Man of Steel, like, his motive doesn't make any sense. He wants to, like, he wants to destroy Earth and make it the new Krypton. He wants to, wipe out the human race and then recreate it as Krypton or whatever. Him and his soldiers immediately arrive to Earth, then they just start blowing up the cities and causing, insane amount of damage to Earth. Like, it's insane. Like, there's no justification for it all at all. He's not an understandable villain. He's a Kryptonian supremacist. That's all he is. We get no backstory about Zod or his soldiers, why they're doing what they're doing. Like, we get nothing about them. They're just mindless, psychotic people who want to wipe out the human race to recreate Krypton. That's it. That's all you'll learn about them. They're basically just nameless villains, for Quark to take care of. But luckily, the James Gunn Superman, fixed everything. I actually really liked it. I rewatched it again recently with my buddies at my friend Brady's apartment, and I saw it. The James Gunn Superman, I saw it in theaters when it came out. I took my siblings to go see it. I really liked it. It was very colorful. It literally felt like they brought a Superman comic, to life. It was great, very positive, great life message. The way they wrote Clark in that, it was perfect. It literally felt like it was a sequel to the Smallville TV show with that universe. It was perfect. And we didn't have to get, the whole origin story of him arriving on Earth as a baby and the Kents finding him growing up. They skipped all that. And we immediately cut to him already as Superman, which I think was the right thing to do. Because, if you're a hero fan, you know Quark's story. You know the origin story. We don't need to see it done again. But, yeah, it's great. The new Superman movie was absolutely great. They did a great job with that one. But man, the Superman in this in the Zack Snyder universe, just, like I said, not a hero, not a likable person. I mean, it's like, literally, if you watch the extended cut of Justice League, so it's there, so it looked like Zack Snyder was setting up to make a Injustice movie. So for anybody who doesn't know, Injustice is a very famous DC comic where Superman turns into a villain because Joker manipulates Clark or something, and thanks to Joker, Clark accidentally gets his wife Lois killed, and she was pregnant. Like, Superman accidentally killed Lois Lane due to some mind thing that Joker did to him, and then Clark kills Joker, and then he turns into a full villain and starts killing people, and basically, goes evil. And it looks like they were going to adapt that because we got, we had in BVS, we had a couple of, I think it was a dream sequence of Bruce in a post-apocalyptic world where Gotham is, destroyed, and Superman has these soldiers now who worship him like he's a god. And then if you watch the Snyder Cut release of the Justice League movie that came out in 2021, we get this after credits scene where, we go back to that universe where Batman and some other characters like the Flash and Cyborg and some others are the only survivors, and they're trying to find a way, to kill Quark. And you're like, and Quark in this universe, he turns into a villain pretty darn quickly. Like, literally in this universe, the only thing that's keeping him sane is Lois Lane. She is literally the only reason that he likes humans is because of her. Now, I'm telling you right now, if you wrote your character in a way where the only thing keeping him from going bad crap crazy is his girlfriend being alive, you haven't done a good job writing this character. Like, that's like Spider-Man going evil if Mary Jane died. Like, in Spider-Man, what happens? His girlfriend Gwen Stacy dies, and what does he do? He continues being a hero to make her proud. Like, that's not how you write it. A true hero, if he loses a loved one, he grieves, but he keeps going. But in Zack Snyder universe, no. Oh, Lois is dead. Well, I'm going evil now. It's like, really? You're telling me Lois is the only thing that's keeping Clark from going just absolute bonkers? That right there it tells you everything you need to know that they did not write Superman correctly. And also, can I just add, the ending to Man of Steel is absolutely mind-boggling. We get this sweet scene of, like, Clark, and Martha going to visit, Jonathan's grave, acting like Clark did a good thing. And it's like the Mueller YouTube channel pointed this out. One of the guys is like, okay, I would just like to point out, imagine the hundreds of thousands of people who are buried in rubble right now because of Clark back in Metropolis, and they're digging up all the dead bodies, like, and Clark and Martha are visiting Jonathan, like Clark just did a very beautiful thing, killing Zod and everything. I'm like, this guy helped destroy over half the city, and he's acting like, man, I think Dad would be so proud of me that I got all those thousands of innocent people killed. He would be so proud. Remember when he told me I shouldn't save them kids in that school bus? Oh, he would have been so proud of me with this. I mean, it's supposed to be a happy music playing when they're at the graveyard, and it's like, no, stop. Think about this. There are hundred thousands of people buried in rubble right now, probably dead, imagine how long it's going to take all the emergency people to dig through the rubble to find everybody. It's the body count is insane. And they're acting like what happened wasn't really a big deal. It's like, yes, it is, Clark. You helped destroy half of freaking Metropolis. Like, it's absolutely, it's crazy. You don't realize the amount of destruction that happens in the Man of Steel battle. Like, it doesn't even start in Metropolis. It starts in Smallville. Half the town of Smallville is engulfed in flames within like 20 minutes of fighting. And then it progresses over to Metropolis, and over half that city gets destroyed to pieces. It's like the destruction in this movie. It's you have to see it for yourself to understand. And like, it ends all happy go, what a great time. And also, may I add, another thing about the ending that drives me crazy, it's like, how does Clark get to work for the Daily Planet in this universe? He didn't go to school in this universe. He didn't go to college. He knows absolutely nothing about reporting. And yet the movie ends with him just randomly showing up to the Daily Planet with a badge on, wearing nice clothes. Hey, Lois, ready to get to work? Like, there was no hints, absolutely nothing whatsoever showing that he knows how to be a reporter. How would he even qualify for that? The only jobs we saw him see doing this film was he was a bartender, a fishing boat person. That's it. How the heck does he qualify to be a journalist at the Daily Planet? Like, what? In Smallville, it makes more sense. Like, I think he had like a small interest in reporting, and he taught himself how to do it. Again, it was built up. He didn't just randomly show up there. The Daily Planet is hinted at in the early seasons, but then the Daily Planet becomes like a main set for the cast during the last, like, I think 4 seasons of Smallville. It was, again, built up. There was hints, right, of Quark becoming a reporter. He didn't just one day show up, hey guys, I'm a reporter now. It was, again, slowly built up. Man of Steel, it just cuts to him as a reporter. And also, may I add that the way they wrote Quark in the ending doesn't make any sense. He acts the same way he does as Superman. With Quark and Superman, they're supposed to be like completely separate beings. Yet in Man of Steel, there's no difference between the two of them. They act exactly the same. If you don't believe me, go back and watch the original Superman movie from 1978, and the main guy in that, Christopher, what's his name? Can't remember his name. Hold on, gotta look this up. The actor who played Superman in the original 1978 film, he did such an amazing job of portraying the characters, in a way where they felt like two separate beings. Oh yeah, Christopher Reeve. Yeah, the late great Christopher Reeve. There's this amazing scene, like the way he plays Quark in this movie versus Superman, two completely different personalities, and the way he can switch between the two roles, it's so perfect. It's amazing. But in Man of Steel, there is no difference between Quark and Superman. They both act exactly the same, emotionless. Like, there's no life. Everything's gray. Everything's like the color grading in Man of Steel is awful too. Everything's dark and gray. There's no color. There's no positive vibes in this movie at all. It's depressing from beginning to end, because really, for the most part, nobody is saved in this. Like, the movie literally ends with half of Metropolis being destroyed, and Clark doesn't really give a crap about the human race. Again, he identifies more with the Kryptonians he's known for 5 minutes versus the humans he was raised with. It's ridiculous. Like, Man of Steel is a very boring movie, and there's no life in it. There's no positive vibes, no life messages. I mean, nothing. It's just straight depression for almost 3 hours. And also, the YouTube channel Moweir, they pointed out something else that I think is absolutely hilarious. There's a side character in Man of Steel that has better character development than Clark. So we get this. So Clark had a childhood bully, and we never learn his name. The Moweir gang called him Ginger Kid because he had orange hair. Like, back to that school bus scene, he was bullying Clark before the bus crashed in the river, and then when the bus crashes in the river, Clark has to jump in the river to push the bus up. Then he has to jump back into the river to pull the guy out. And then we get another flashback scene of Clark being bullied, and then Ginger Kid walks over to him and pulls him back up on his feet as, like, character development. He's not a bully anymore. Like, literally, in just 2 scenes, this character, Ginger Kid, had more character development than Clark did in this movie. Like, Clark, he's the same person the movie started out with. He doesn't grow at all in this movie whatsoever. He's the same person he was at the beginning. He just wears the outfit now. Other than that, he's the same dude he was at the start of it. There was no growth with him whatsoever. I would argue he got worse when he finds out he's Kryptonian, and everything. Oh, and while we're talking about it, there's a scene in the 2017 Justice League movie. No, not 2017. The extended cut. So in the Zack Snyder director's cut of Justice League, about halfway through the movie, the Justice League realizes they need to get Clark back. So they devise this insane plan, to bring Clark back. And after the plan and everything's said and done and Clark's back, it's like literally the Earth is on the verge of being destroyed from the villain and his demon creature army. But then Quark just flies away back to Smallville, and Lois and Martha find him just randomly walking through a cornfield, just when the breeze hit. It's like, dude, the Earth is like hours away from ending. It's like, oh, no. I have to walk through a cornfield right quick. I have to relearn who I am. It's like, no, Quark, no, you don't. Get your darn suit on and go help the Justice League. And also, may I add that, of course, they had to make him even extra goth in this movie because for some reason he goes back to the Kryptonian ship, and his digital dad, Jor-El's like, oh, hey, here is this black Superman suit that didn't exist in the previous movies. Here you go. It's like, oh, okay. A black suit. Yeah, that's real positive. Not the red and blue, positive suit. No. It's gotta be dark, edgy black, like Batman. Okay. Whatever. That entire scene of him just, it blows my mind. Like, the Earth is hours away from ending, and Quark's like, I gotta walk through a cornfield right quick and stuff. It's like, he doesn't give a single crap in the whole world like that. I cannot tell you how angry that scene made me. Oh my gosh. And like, and I just think it's hilarious. One of the last shots we see is him, going to change to be Superman, and he pulls his clothes off, and he's wearing the black suit. Not the classic red and blue one, he's wearing the black one. That's not Superman. Yeah, universe forbid, there can't be any color in these movies. Everything has to be dark blue filter, or black and white, or gray. There can't be any color. It's like Zack Snyder, it's like, God forbid there cannot be color in his films. Oh my gosh. Like, dude, these films, if you watch them like all back to back, you're gonna get like a headache. Trust me. And I can't help but think about just how colorful Smallville was. I mean, dude, seriously, whoever was in charge of the colors, especially like in the first 5 seasons, like, dude, like, everywhere you went, each place you went to, it felt like a unique spot. Like, seriously, my favorite set piece in the entire show was the camp farm. Like, you had the green, fields around it. You had the red barn. You had the yellow 2-story house. I mean, like, the color, like, the brown fence that went around it. I mean, like, everything had so much color. You think about the Smallville High School. You remember all the tan, red, and yellow colors? I mean, like, everything just felt like the locations were so beautiful, like they felt like Smallville felt like a beautiful, positive, small town in America to live in, like it was a beautiful place. When you went to Metropolis, everything was, you're in a big city now like Chicago or something, and everything's, gray and kind of plan, I mean, and that's how it is in real life. But you saw all the different colored cars, the different color outfits, and everything. Everything, like, it really felt like the locations felt like their own character. They all felt unique. Like, remember the ice fortress that Quark finds in the later seasons? Like, it was all, white and cold, because it was in the Arctic, I believe. Or the parrot, or that place, that sand place that they go to in the later seasons, where it was a prison that Krypton used, where they sent villains into. Like, what was it called? I can't remember what it was called, but everything was like dark, dirty, sandy. Like, all the places, the colors really helped with showing you what kind of place it was. It was all unique. But when you go back to Man of Steel, it's like all the areas feel the same, because they all have that damn, gray filter going on. Like, everything, it's like with the Twilight movies. There's this unnecessary gray filter everywhere. It's like, God forbid there can't be any positive colors in these movies, like, it's absolutely insane. And I liked how throughout the entire show Quark wears, like red and blue, jackets all the time. He always wore colors that resembled the suit. I mean, he did. Well, to be fair though, in season 9 he did wear a black suit, so I gotta be fair there. But throughout most of Smallville, he wore, red and red red and blue, colors representing the Superman suit. And and also, I remember how I talked about the Man of Steel ending. It's not hopeful. Nothing positive about it, right? Now think back to the finale of Smallville. What do we see? We see classic Clark, working at the Daily Planet with classic Lois, and he gets a call that that someone needs help. So he runs up to the roof to change into his Superman outfit. And literally, the last shot we see is him flying away in the Superman suit. It's positive. It's like, dude, I remember when I watched that finale for the first time, I wanted to jump out of my chair and just run around the room for like an hour. I was so pumped. It was such a beautiful ending, and we got to hear the classic Superman theme from the original 1978 movie. I mean, it was so freaking good. They couldn't have ended that show better in any other way. It was so perfect. And like that shot of Ghost Jonathan handing the Superman suit over to Clark because he earned it. It wasn't magically given to him, like in Man of Steel. He earned the suit throughout all of the trials he went through throughout the 10-season run of Smallville. Yet in Man of Steel, the outfit is just magically handed over to him without earning it. I didn't like that very much either. And the Man of Steel Clark did not deserve that suit in any kind of way because he doesn't save anybody. Like, he goes out of his way so many times throughout the film to show he doesn't care about the human race. It's just sad. But, and also, I would love to give a shout out to Erica Durance from Smallville. She is the best Lois Lane ever put to screen, dude. Like, I had to talk about her for a second. I mean, like, dude, Lois was so well written in Smallville, and she was fantastic. I mean, from season 4 to 10, dude, she was incredible. I mean, the chemistry between her and Clark in that show is second to none. I mean, it's the way their relationship was written. I mean, we'll never see that kind of writing with them again, I don't think. I mean, nothing's going to top that. It was so perfect. The way they meet each other in high school, and you'll watch the relationship grow over the course of the 7 seasons that Lois was in the show. I mean, she was such a great addition. Like, Erica was just great. I mean, she's a great actress. I mean, like, this will be the role she'll always be remembered for. And she just added so much depth. You know what I mean? I mean, it's like, and you think back to Amy Adams and Man of Steel, it's just like, she's just so bland and boring, and with Lois and Smallville, I mean, she was a badass, like 100% she was, and she earned that, with Amy Adams, it's just like the way they roll her in Man of Steel. Like, I'm not kidding you, there's literally a scene in Man of Steel where Clark has to go, he turns himself into Zod and his soldiers, right? And then, for some reason Lois went with him. Like, they're like, we want the reporter to come too. And it's like, why? Why do you guys need Lois Lane to go with you? Like, there are so many plot conveniences, throughout the Zack Snyder universe where it's like, Lois Lane's here for some freaking reason, like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, and then, like, later on in the movie, when Clark gets away, she has to find a way off of Zod's ship, and she manages to beat, 2 of his soldiers, like with one of the space guns that she finds. It's like, this is a human reporter woman, and she somehow bested 2 professional Kryptonian soldiers. Like, what now? And then it's like in Smallville, for example, I mean, you don't mess with Smallville Lois. I mean, like, dude, she knew how to stand up for herself, that's for sure. And I just had to take a moment to talk about, Erica Durance. I mean, she was so freaking good as Lois Lane. And it's just like, when you compare her performance to Amy Adams, I mean, like, there's no comparison whatsoever. Another thing I'd like to add is that I would argue Man of Steel, we already talked about how I did Jonathan dirty, but they also did, they did Martha, I think, really dirty to an extent, too, because remember how I mentioned, she said that quote to him in BVS, that he doesn't owe the world, literally anything, like, and it's like, I was thinking about, Martha in Smallville. And dude, she was excellent in this. Annette O'Toole, I believe is how you say her name. Dude, she is the best Martha Kent. Dude, from seasons 1 through 6, when she was on Smallville, dude, she was an excellent Martha Kent. She always went out of her way to give Clark the best advice that she could give him. She always had his back every step of the way, and she always made sure to tell him, what happened to Jonathan wasn't your fault. She stood up for him, man, again, and again, And, Annette she's just a brilliant actress. I've heard nothing but good things about her. She seems like a very positive, good person, to be around. And it's just, what a great mother figure she was to Clark, in Smallville. And, no offense to, let me see. What was the actress's name, who played Martha in Man of Steel? Hold on, I can't remember her name. Oh yeah, Diane Lane. I think she did okay with what she was given with, but there just wasn't a whole lot of depth with Martha, and I gotta be honest, in the sequels, I think she just got a little more boring, like in Justice League, in the extended Justice League film by Zack Snyder. They don't give her or Lois anything to do in that movie. It's just them grieving Clark's death. That's all they are. They're just grieving. They don't really serve anything to the plot in any kind of way. And I just kind of wish they could have gave her a little more to do. But yeah, it's just, yeah, Annette is the GOAT of playing Martha Kent. She will always be the best. Now, another big thing that I want to talk about here for a moment is the way Krypton is, like Krypton, for example. In Man of Steel, dude, I don't know, why they chose, they made Krypton look like a very crappy planet. You know what I mean? It's the few shots we got of Krypton in the Man of Steel movie, it just looked like a very hostile place to live. There's lava everywhere. It's like a desert-looking place. And I'm like, why would you want to destroy Earth and turn Earth into that? Earth is a beautiful planet. There's literally a scene where, when Zod's, on the ground, and he picks up a handful of dust, and he's like, I wanted to create a new Krypton on this squalor. I'm like, okay, dude, Earth is a beautiful planet. What are you talking about? Do you see, how colorful the Earth is compared to other planets, It's dude, Krypton was a crappy planet. I thought Krypton was supposed to be this beautiful, place. It doesn't look welcoming in any kind of way. And it's just I can't believe Zod you would think he would be like, hey, could we just live here with you guys? That would have made things so much easier, but no, the first thing the dude thinks of is to wipe out the human race and remake, Krypton on Earth. It's like that plan just doesn't make any sense. And by the way, well, I just remembered. I talked earlier. The Phantom Zone. That's the place that I think Krypton sent their criminals into. And the Phantom Zone was very well done in Smallville with the way they really did make it feel like a hellish place, to go to. So they did a great job, designing that. And yeah, I just did not like how they made Krypton such a crappy looking planet in Man of Steel. Go back and watch the Superman animated show from the 90s. They did a great job in that cartoon of making, Krypton. It was once a beautiful city, with great architecture, and stuff, and it was sad that it got destroyed, it was a beautiful place. But in Man of Steel, they just made it look like a very hellish place to live. It just looked so unwelcoming. And let's talk about Quark's biological parents for a second. Now, another thing about this movie is it's like I wasn't really a big fan with Man of Steel with how they wrote Quark's parents. Like did you guys notice like in Man of Steel, Quark's mom literally gets thrown to the wolves? I mean, like Jor-El makes this like device where he makes an AI version of himself to guide Quark when he's older, and I'm like, what about his mom, Jor-El? I mean, I'm sure his mom like in the YouTube channel, How It Should Have Ended, they literally made a reference to this. Like when he's putting the chip in the capsule, she's like, well, "What about mine? I'm his mom." You know, like it's like, yeah, fair point, yeah, and like Jor-El, it's like it is unclear what Jor-El wanted for Quark. I mean, part of him's like, he's gonna leave. He's gonna go forge his own destiny. But then later on, he tells them, "It's like you were meant to be the bridge between two worlds." And it's like, okay, Jor-El, do you want Clark to forge his own path? Because it seems like the path you've already made a path for him, you know. And then like you find out later on in the film that Jor-El had taken the Codex device from Krypton and had it merge with Quark. And like that whole side plot was very complicated. So it's just like Jor-El kept going on how Quark was going to forge his own destiny on planet Earth, but it's like it seems like you have already made a path for him, Jor-El. I mean, like he didn't really have much of a choice. You know, like you kind of already set things in motion for him. But and it's like I just kind of wish they could have given his mom an AI chip too, so we could have learned more about her. Because I mean, like we only see her for like 5 minutes, you know, and then you know Jor-El, he kind of guides him a little bit, but like it just makes me mad that Quark identifies with him. Like he's nicer to him than to Jonathan, you know, the guy who literally raised him when he was a baby. Like yeah, I've known you for a few minutes, but I'm gonna be more respectful towards you and not the man who literally found and raised me. It's like that just makes me so freaking mad. I mean, look at Smallville for example. I mean, like in Smallville, Quark's biological parents, they're actually portrayed as good people. I mean, he meets both of them. You know, like I thought it was really cool how the actress who plays his mom in Smallville, she played Supergirl in the '80s, which I thought was a very nice little touch, you know, and they were genuine, good people, and I think it was really cool how in the show, Quark's mother, she chose the Kents, to take Quark in. It wasn't a coincidence they found him, like, they were chosen because they liked them because she had good judgment. She knew Jonathan and Martha were good people and they'd be amazing parents, for Quark. Like if his parents were genuine good people who wanted their son to live. I mean, we learned so much about them. They were good. They were good Kryptonian people. Like they were good. And Quark got to meet his dad, at least for a little bit, and he was a good dude, and it was really cool how we actually got to learn, a lot about them. Unfortunately, that we didn't get that, in the Man of Steel movie. And another thing that I like about Smallville, is Quark's growth when it comes to his powers. I mean, like in the first season, within the first episode of Smallville, I mean, like Quark hates his powers and he hates them. Like we literally get a scene where him and Jonathan are talking, and Quark sticks his hand in a wood chipper machine, and tells him like Dad, Lex's car hit me at 200 miles an hour, and I'm fine. I would give literally anything to be normal. I mean, like he hates his powers, and then in season 5, something happens where his powers get taken away, and he's overjoyed about it. He is so happy they're gone. Like he wants to be a normal human being here on planet Earth. But then eventually he gets his powers back. Like his growth is him accepting himself for who he is, and realizing that it's like what Uncle Ben said to Peter in Spider-Man: with great power comes great responsibility. You can't just give these powers up. They are a part of you, and you have to use them to save people. That's him coming to terms with that over the 10-season run. He finally embraces on who he is. And Man of Steel, is Clark responsible with his powers? Heck no, he's not. We've already went through that. Like, he really does abuse his powers sometimes, like when he destroyed that guy's semi-truck, being a petty little crybaby. Him snapping Zod's neck, the hundreds of thousands of innocent people he got killed, the dozens and dozens of buildings that he destroyed. He's not responsible with his powers in any kind of way. And like we see that even more in BVS, where Lois is captured by terrorists, and Quark just shows up and mows them all down with his laser eyes, acting like he's literally the Punisher if he had powers. Like, that's not Superman. Like, he has no responsibility with his powers whatsoever. And that is another big difference to why Quark in Smallville is excellent versus how Man of Steel, Quark is just not very well written. And going back, as I mentioned with the Molière YouTube channel, near the end of their commentary, they showed scenes, from a Superman cartoon where he's in court because he was fighting this Earth-level threat villain, but he doesn't kill him. He lets him live, and the guy and the attorney asks him, "You let this guy live. Why is that?" And then Superman says, "I'm nobody's judge and jury or executioner. My powers don't put me above the law." It's like, yeah, bingo. That's Superman. It's him realizing, with all these powers, he doesn't. It's not up to him to decide who lives and who dies. I just save people. I don't kill anybody. And it seems that Zack Snyder and his team didn't put that into consideration in any kind of way, because Clark gets so many people killed in this movie, and he kills Zod, and he doesn't care in the slightest. There were other options. Like, Superman is not a killer, not usually anyway. I mean, unless, you're the evil one in Injustice, but, I gotta be honest, I'm tired of the evil Superman stereotype. Like, how many times have we seen that? We had, Omni-Man, we had Homelander, and then and then they had, that scary movie they did years ago, what was it called? I can't remember, but we've seen it, We've seen the evil Superman thing done multiple times. I'm kind of burnt out on it. And if I'm being perfectly honest, I think the best, evil Superman-esque character was Omni-Man in the first season of Invincible. I mean, like... Oh, Brightburn. Brightburn is what... Yeah, they did a movie called Brightburn, which is basically an evil Superman kid. But anyway, yeah, the first season of Invincible with Omni-Man, I would argue that was the best, that was the best version of an evil Superman. But we've seen that done again and again. Now that, the boys, Homelander and the boys, like that show wrapped up, so, I mean, Homelander, I think, was pretty well written in that, but, yeah, but anyway, I'm just kind of fed up and done with the evil Superman stereotype, that's why I really did enjoy the new Superman movie so much, is because, everything was just so positive and fun, and there was good life lessons in there, and, it was a very inspiring story, as it should be. It's not supposed to be, all gray and depressing and sad. Like, that's not who Superman is as a character, But that is going to wrap it up with all the main talking points that I had, talking about, Man of Steel. And also, I as I mentioned earlier, I'll give a few shout-outs to the other characters. Like, the Zack Snyder universe also did Batman and Wonder Woman very dirty. I mean, like, for example, Batman straight up mows down people with machine guns in Batman vs. Superman. like, do we all remember the famous, Batmobile scene where he's chasing those black vehicles and he just gets machine guns out on his car and then he mows all the vehicles down? He kills like 12 people tops in that. And then he's fighting bad guys in the warehouse to save Martha, and he grabs a gun and shoots the oxygen tank because one of the bad guys has a flamethrower and he shoots a hole in it so it'll blow up. And like, he killed that guy too. I mean, he kills so many bad guys in this. And you know what? I want you guys to go check out the YouTube channel High Top Films, because it's a great YouTube channel, and the guy who runs it, I forget his name, but he made an amazing video called Batman Does Not Kill, and I want you guys to go watch that. Like, he did such an amazing job explaining Batman as a character to why he would never do, those evil things. Like, go check it out, because he explains it better than I ever could, so definitely go check that out. And they also did Wonder Woman extremely dirty. Like, her first movie, I would argue, hasn't really aged well either. I mean, she's not really a hero in that movie. I mean, she gets characters killed. Like, do y'all remember that scene in the extended cut of Justice League where those group of terrorists take over that bank and she just straight up murders all of them? Like, there's literally blood on the floor. I mean, she maims all these guys, and then she walks away acting like she's some kind of hero. Like, that's not Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman does not kill people, And, her solo movie, I gotta be honest, it hasn't aged very well. I mean, like, the way they wrote her in that, not knowing what a war is or how the real world works, how she ruins Steve's plans, every step of the way because she's so stupid, and, then the whole plot of her defeating Zeus, and that just magically ends World War One. I'm like, are you kidding? Seriously? I mean, there is so much they could have did with her in that film, but what they did, it just wasn't that good. And I haven't watched Wonder Woman 84, but I heard it was god awful. I mean, I gotta be honest, I am happy now that they're doing a full reboot and starting from scratch, because that the entire DC universe that Zack Snyder was doing, it was already dead in the water. I mean, you guys weren't going literally anywhere. It's just it was very disappointing, and it looks like DC might be heading in a new good direction, but after the Supergirl movie not doing very well, I don't know where we stand, but maybe they'll recover from it. Who knows? But I hope you guys enjoyed me doing this episode. I hope you had some fun. This one was just kind of more of a rant. I mean, going off of how, this universe just didn't do a good job with the DC characters. But you guys take care of yourselves. Keep living life to the fullest. Keep taking opportunities. And just live a full life. Live the best life that you can. That's all we can do. So thank you for clicking again on this episode. You guys take care, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. So until next time, my name is Christian Taylor, and you are listening to the Tales of Music and Film.